Welcome to part 2 of the story of Rafa Mendes.
Okay, let's talk about a real mystery. In 2017, the undisputed, pound-for-pound best grappler on the entire planet just vanished from competition. He didn't lose his title, he didn't get injured, he just left, right at the top. Today we're getting into the real reason Rafael Mendes retired. And everyone kind of felt this way. I mean, think about it. After 16 years of non-stop competition, a record 6 IBJJF world titles, which is basically the Olympics for Gi Jiu Jitsu, and 2 ADCC championships, the most prestigious no-gi tournament there is. What else was there to do? He'd climbed every mountain.
And that's the big question, isn't it? The one that people in the jiu-jitsu world have been asking ever since. Why would an athlete at just 27 years old, who is this dominant, just decide to hang up his belt? Well, the official story we were all told, that's only half the truth.
In his retirement video, he basically said, "Look, I've done it. I've achieved every single goal I ever set for myself." He was a dad, he was a husband, and he said his priorities had just shifted. He was choosing his family over the non-stop grind of being a world-class competitor. And honestly, who can't respect that?
And here's where the story takes a turn. Because while family was without a doubt a huge reason, his retirement wasn't really an ending. It was a pivot. He wasn't just walking away from competition, he was walking towards a completely different and maybe even bigger mission.
See, he'd already proven he was the best competitor. Now, he and his brother Guilherme had a new goal: to prove what the sport of jiu-jitsu itself could actually be. Way back in 2012, think about that, a full 5 years before he retired, the Mendes brothers partnered up with PM Tenore, the founder of the massive lifestyle brand RVCA. Together, they opened the Art of Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Costa Mesa, California. And this partnership, it was the key to everything.
And this right here is the crucial point. AOJ was never just a gym. It wasn't just a way to make some money after competing. From day one, it was a mission-driven project with a goal so much bigger than just creating more champions. It was about changing how the whole world sees jiu-jitsu. And it's right here, and the philosophy behind AOJ, that we find the real reason he retired. This was the moment of the big psychological shift, from a guy obsessed with proving himself to a visionary trying to elevate the art itself.
I mean, the contrast is just wild. Think about the stereotypical image of a martial arts gym, right? Dark, black walls, maybe some cages, skulls on the wall, what Rafa called a fight club vibe. AOJ was the polar opposite. It was bright, clean, all white. It looked more like a modern art gallery than a gym.
And he said it himself perfectly. The goal wasn't to create a fight club, it was to create a place for learning, to show jiu-jitsu not as some brutish sport, but as the sophisticated art form, a whole lifestyle.
And they were dead serious about this philosophy. It was enforced through strict rules. You've got the famous all-white mats, which get cleaned 5 times a day. Students have to train in clean white gis as a sign of respect. The whole culture was built from the ground up to be about professionalism, discipline, and creating a safe place where an entire family could feel comfortable training.
And you have to understand, for the Mendes brothers, this was deeply personal. When they were kids, jiu-jitsu gave them everything: structure, role models, a positive path in life. Their deeper mission was to share that transformative power with the world.
It was never just a gym to teach some classes. It was their laboratory for creating a brand new type of jiu-jitsu professional, one who can actually build a real career, not just live off prize money. And they basically built a machine to do it. First, they find the absolute best young talent through scholarships. Then, they plug them into this super detailed, systematic curriculum, the AOJ secret sauce. Then they create an environment that demands total professionalism. And finally, and this is key, they build a business platform around these athletes so they have a real sustainable career. You just weren't seeing that in the old Fight Club model.
Their system has basically created a conveyor belt for elite talent. You've got these homegrown champions like Jessa Khan and the Ruotolo brothers, who literally came up through their kids' program. And then you have the recruits, guys like Tainan Dalpra and Johnatha Alves, who they brought in through their special Believe and Achieve scholarship.
So let's zoom in on a few of these absolute killers, starting with the guy who's really the face of their competition team right now, Tainan Dalpra. Tainan is the absolute poster child for their scholarship program. Get this. He joins AOJ when he's just 14 years old, moves all the way to California, and with the Mendes brothers in his corner, he turns into one of the most dominant guys on the planet. He went undefeated for more than 2 years and scooped up 2 black belt world titles. Just incredible.
But here's the thing. Their system isn't just about finding talent that's already out there.
It's about building it right from the very beginning. And that brings us to someone who is a truly historic figure for this academy, Jessa Khan.
Jessa's story is really the ultimate proof that their focus on kids pays off. Think about this. She is the very first black belt they promoted who started with them from the kids program and went all the way through. They literally built a world champion from scratch. It proves that their model works right from that very first day on the mat.
And that proof just keeps on coming. Let's talk about another one of their scholarship stars, a guy who's been with them for a long time now, Johnatha Alves.
Johnatha's journey is just a perfect example of how good they are at spotting talent early. He was one of the very first athletes to get their scholarship. They saw the potential in him when he was just a juvenile, and they guided him step by step all the way to becoming a Pan-American and a world champion at the highest level.
So when you connect all these dots, his retirement starts to make perfect sense, doesn't it? It wasn't an end. It was the final step he had to take to go all in on this much, much bigger vision. The old goal was to prove he was the best. The new goal was to build something that would outlast him and elevate the entire sport. He wasn't closing a door, he was just fully committing to opening this new one. He was redirecting all of that champion-level passion and dedication into this new project.
So, in the end, he traded the individual glory of the podium for a completely different kind of win. And today, his success isn't just measured by his own medals, but by the world champions AOJ produces, and the cultural shift he's leading in the sport.
Which brings us all the way back to the beginning and reframes the whole story. Did one of the greatest competitors of all time really just quit the sport he had totally mastered?
Or did he just find a bigger way to win? A way that wasn't just for himself, but for the future of the entire art? A legacy that goes so far beyond any single medal.
Every like and subscribe is appreciated. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and click on the screen right now.